Welcome to Kitchen Uncovered. I'm Chef Andrew Nicholson with the Culinary Institute of Canada. Today at Annie's Table Culinary Studio in New London, Prince Edward Island. Guest chef today, Andrew Smith, chef from Red Shores Racetrack and Casino. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. So tell us a little bit about your career. You graduated the Culinary Institute of Canada?
I did. I graduated in 2004, and then from there I moved out west to Kananaskis, worked at the Delta, and a few years later after that I had the opportunity to come back to the Delta here, stayed there for a few years, moved around to a few smaller restaurants, and then currently I'm at Red Shore since 2012.
Right on. So what kind of business are you doing at Red Shores? High end? Is it?
So our main restaurant there is the top of the park, which is buffet orientated, and then we have a small casual dining atmosphere downstairs as well.
Right on. So you brought your style of cooking to the show and to Red Shores a little bit, and that's what we're going to touch on today.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what are we going to do today on today's show?
So today we are going to do two things. We're going to do pepper, salt, and rosemary crusted pork tenderloin, as well as we're going to do a chocolate fudge.
Okay, so where do we get started?
Well, we're going to get started by cleaning up this pork tenderloin.
Okay.
So what I mean by cleaning up is we're going to take the silver skin off so it doesn't, so we don't really lose any yield on it.
All right, so you're just going to take the silver skin out. It's fairly trim and clean the way it is there right now, but if we don't take the silver skin off, what issues are we going to get into at home?
Well, it's tough. So what you're going to run into is it's going to kind of contract a little bit as opposed to be as loose as it could be.
Okay. And the silver skin doesn't break down like fat. It doesn't melt away. It kind of has to be trimmed off.
Correct.
And we're going to coat it with a peppercorn crust?
Yes.
So so you get out of a tenderloin, you get a couple of portions?
Yeah, most tenderloins are around 11, 12 ounces. So what I like to do is an average 6 ounce per person is pretty comfortable, so you should be able to get 2.
Okay.
So we're just going to take some pepper, some salt, and some rosemary for a little...
some chopped rosemary, fresh from the garden?
Fresh from the garden, absolutely. And I really like pepper, so I coat mine pretty well. Okay. But if you're not, feel free to only kind of half crust it if that's your preference.
Okay, we need a hot pan?
Hot pan, so we're going to sear that a little bit.
All right.
Just enough to kind of coat the bottom of that.
So just a little bit of oil, and once we get the crust on and this is how you're going to sear it. This is going to give you a nice firm texture on the outside.
Absolutely.
Okay, so reasonably medium to high heat for that. When you do that, you want to get a nice sizzle when it hits the pan.
Absolutely.
Okay, and then how long would that stay in the pan for, and what kind of are we looking for?
That'll probably stay in the pan, start to finish, about 2 minutes. We'll kind of roll it, get all 4 sides. Even though it's round, there's not really sides to it.
Yeah.
We'll kind of get all sides, top, bottom, and both sides.
Okay, and then we'll finish that in the oven.
Yes.
So this is something you can do ahead of time. Okay, so what else we got on the go here?
So to kind of finish this dish off, we're going to do a little carrot butter.
Okay.
So we have a pot of boiling water, and we're going to add those carrots. Those carrots are going to cook until they're soft in texture. And then once they're soft, we will then take it to the food processor a little later, and we will kind of puree that up with some butter.
Okay, so these are just going to cook till tender, and there's nothing really extra we're going to add to that.
Nope.
Okay.
You can add salt, you can add a few things if you want to kind of add some flavor, but I like doing that at the end. So if you use any fresh herbs or anything like that, it's always better to add it at the last moment.
Okay, I'll just slide those over in the middle, and we'll
keep nice color, nice color coming.
So I noticed we got some cilantro on the go here too. What are we doing with the cilantro?
Yeah, so we're also going to do a cilantro oil, and that's going to go into our finished dish as well.
Okay. So this is type of things you use at the Red Shores all the time?
Absolutely. So we're going to take the cilantro, take some oil.
So the whole bunch, and about how much oil? A couple of cups of oil?
Probably about a cup of oil. We got about 8 ounces of, actually we have about a pound of cilantro there.
Okay.
And I like a nice pungent flavor of some fresh garlic as well. Not everyone does. Some people like to cook it, but I actually like the freshness of that.
Okay.
So now we're going to puree that up on high on the blender. The blender just gives it a nice smoother texture.
And just blend that up, stems and everything?
Yeah, stems and everything. There's a lot of flavor in the cilantro stems, so
Okay.
I definitely encourage using the stems as well.
Okay, and you blend that up just as is, a little bit of salt and pepper maybe in there for seasoning, and just let that go till it's as smooth as possible.
Absolutely.
Okay,
So the pork's looking good there.
so what else are we going to do? So you were talking about the chocolate fudge cake that we're going to...
Yeah, chocolate
into?
fudge. So what I like to do with that is, if you ever get a last minute request, is if there's a gluten-free person or just somebody who really likes chocolate,
Yeah.
and you just found out they came into your restaurant, well, you can actually make that up pretty quick, and it can be ready by the end of their meal.
Okay, so we'll look forward to that. We'll do that in a second. Just going to turn this down a little bit. So our pork's just about ready for the oven. So that's about the textures, and that's kind of what you're trying to get
Yeah, perfect.
established. Nothing really on the ends. And you put that into what temperature in oven for how long?
We'll go about 375 convection, and if you don't have a convection oven, you can probably go around 400 degrees, and I would say anywhere from 7 to 10 minutes, depending on your oven.
Okay, all right. So you want to put that in the oven?
Yeah.
We're going to carrots going. We're going to be right back after this break with chocolate fudge, so don't go away. Welcome back to Kitchen Uncovered. I'm Chef Andrew Nicholson of the Culinary Institute of Canada. Today at Annie's Table, Culinary Studio in New London, Prince Edward Island. Guest chef today, Andrew Smith from Red Shores Racetrack and Casino. So today we're doing crusted pork tenderloin.
Yes.
It's in the oven, and we're going to cook that for about 7 minutes, and we're going to...
7 to 10 minutes, and we'll go to about a medium stage, yes.
Okay, and so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do the chocolate fudge dessert that was quick and easy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so like I was saying earlier, it's a great chance that if somebody ever comes into your restaurant or at home, or somebody's coming over and they're a celiac,
Yeah.
it's a great use that you can put it in at the start, and it can be done when it's dessert time.
Okay, so where do we get started with that?
So we're going to start with melting some dark chocolate.
Okay, so use dark chocolate as opposed to milk chocolate?
Yeah, dark chocolate, it's not as sweet, it's more natural cocoa, and since we'll be adding sweetened condensed milk that has sugar in it later, that'll kind of sweeten everything up and round it all out.
Okay, and we have this going on a double boiler. Is there any particular reason for that?
Well, a double boiler, it's indirect heat, and it will kind of melt more naturally without having to worry about burning it.
Okay, so we're just going to let that sit over the hot water and let it go. So we've also got some sugar on the go here. So what are we doing with the sugar?
Yeah, we're going to take some sugar, and we are going to bring it right before the caramelized stage.
Okay, so just in a cool warm pan?
Yeah, I like to add just a little bit of water. I know some people, it's not a preference, but for myself, it just gives a little more breathing room to it.
Okay.
So we'll let that go till kind of a blonde, opaque stage, and then we'll start adding our pistachios, a little fresh thyme, as well as some lemon zest just for some extra flavor.
Okay, so we're going to do candied pistachios.
Pistachios, yes.
Okay, right on. So we're going to let that sit and cook. So while those are going, we had our carrots that we had on the stove there earlier. And so now we're going to we cook these and just boil them in water till they were soft with not al dente, but they were cooked right through.
So they're soft, so they're easily pureable in the KitchenAid.
Okay, so what do we do next for that?
So now what I'm going to do is we're going to strain it with a slotted spoon, or you could strain it and have the water sitting on the side.
Okay, but you want some of the water in the mixer with the carrots.
Yeah, it'll just help puree up a little better.
Okay.
So we can kind of start with a little bit there.
Awesome.
And we'll add a little bit of salt to that.
Okay, and this is just a puree just to use as a garnisher on the plate.
And whenever that gets going, we can kind of then add all our butter into it. So this here is just going to make a nice creamy puree texture.
Okay.
And you can kind of see it's starting to get more natural lightness as well. So it's going to be a nice smooth ending to our finished plate.
So you would blend that until it was smooth and no lumps or
Absolutely.
anything in there. Okay. So our chocolate is starting to melt here on the outside. So what else you got on the go there?
Perfect. Looks like it's coming along. So inside our chocolate dessert, we're also going to add some chopped pecans, and we're going to add some chopped cherries.
Pecans and cherries. This is for the fudge?
And this is for the fudge. And what that's going to do, it's just going to add a little texture. It's going to add a little bit of flavor into kind of a simple dessert, I'll call it.
Okay. And do you toast the pecans or anything on the stove or in a saute pan or anything?
I
or
didn't
just
with
natural?
I didn't with these, but at any time, feel free, because anytime you do another cooking application, it just adds another element of flavor. So I wouldn't discourage it, but it's definitely not necessary.
Okay. Good to know. So we've got our pans on here with our sugar, and we just want this. We don't need this to caramelize to a caramel color. We just
No.
need the opaque.
Correct.
Okay. Just making sure I know what I'm doing.
No, we could go to a hard ball, but there's no real need for what we're doing.
Okay.
So we can start seeing it starting to boil. We still got probably a minute left to go on that.
Okay, and then our chocolate's melting. So we want the chocolate to melt right through till it's
Yeah, absolutely.
Till it's smooth?
A nice smooth texture, and then the cherries that I'm chopping up here and the pecans, they'll kind of be a nice texture on the inside.
okay.
So
So
we'll
is the caramel or the candied pistachios? Are they for this dish or they're for the pork?
They are going to be for the pork, and it's going to be more of a garnish, just so when you're eating the nice soft pork, it'll kind of help with the pistachios, just different texture components in there.
Okay.
So yeah, the chocolate's coming along nicely now.
Yeah, it's starting to melt there. We'll just wait for a few more of the chocolates to melt up.
Perfect.
And we've done. And you have some thyme there. The thyme is going to go
Yeah, the
into the fudge as well.
thyme and the pistachios will go in, and we'll also do we'll also do a little lemon zest. It'll just kind of help with a little bit of flavor in it. So whenever you kind of bite into it, you'll be like, "What is that?"
Any
So-
lemon juice or anything?
No lemon juice. We're not looking to dilute it. More so just the flavor.
Okay.
So we just have a little rasper here that just takes the zest off and leaves the rind.
Switch these out so see what's going on here.
Perfect.
So it's starting to melt, and you can see that the chocolate is starting to get a little bit smoother and melt. And like you said, it's less direct heat, so there's less chance of burning
Absolutely.
the chocolate and crusties. Because you could do this in a microwave as well, but again, you get that possibility of.
And if you ever do it in a microwave, I definitely recommend 30 seconds, then taking it out, stirring it, then another 20 seconds, and so on.
Little bits at a time, just
Yeah.
to more control.
If not, it will burn if you probably just let it go for a minute straight or
And
whatnot.
chocolate can be tricky too. If you do it and you get any water in it, it can seize up on you. So you have to make sure that your wooden spoon or whatever you're using is reasonably dry.
Absolutely.
So
So I
this
think
is almost melted through. Do you need this? You want this as smooth as possible.
as smooth as possible, which I think we're probably good to add this now.
Okay, bring that over.
So what we have here is some sweetened condensed milk. And sweetened condensed milk, for anybody that doesn't know, it's basically sweetened milk.
And that's good for this recipe, just to help it set a little better.
Absolutely. So while we're stirring that in, we'll also take the pecans, the cherries,
Okay.
and we'll stir that, and then we'll get ready to set that into a pan.
Okay. Lois Craswell is giving us a hand today in today's show. She's a graduate student of the culinary, and she's going to bring the molds. So these are molds that we use in the kitchens a lot that are very flexible, flex molds. And they're good for a lot of different applications. Andrew is going to scoop out the fudge. I'm right back. We're going to see how the pork's doing. Don't go away. Welcome back to Kitchen Uncovered. I'm Chef Andrew Nicholson of the Culinary Institute of Canada. Today at Annie's Table Culinary Studio in New London, Prince Edward Island. Guest chef today, Chef Andrew Smith from Red Shores Casino and Racetrack. So today we're doing crusted pork, which is in the oven and just about ready to go to the plate.
Just about.
We've done our fudge cakes, which are setting in the fridge, and they take about how long, Andrew, to set?
Anywhere from an hour or two, but for best results, about 4 hours in the fridge.
Okay, about 4 hours. Okay, so it's just a quick and easy dessert that you can do just at the last minute if you kind of need something to fill in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so we have our caramel sauce that we started for pistachios. So we just need it to get to opaque, not quite caramelized.
Yep.
So how do we go from here?
It's starting to get there now. You can start seeing all the bubbles where the sugar's reducing, and it's starting to get into a few more stages now. So we're probably about 30 seconds away from adding there.
Okay.
And just while that's getting down, I think we're just going to pull the pork out of the oven.
Okay, let it rest. So even if you're doing roast porks or beef or turkey or chicken, you need to make sure that it gives a good chance to rest up and just let the juices kind of relax and do its thing.
Absolutely.
Okay, so caramel sauce. So is there a point where you can do this too late or too early, or is it kind of one of those things that needs to be kind of exactly?
You can go a little bit on either side, but once sugar goes too far, it's kind of burnt, which you kind of get a strong, foul taste in your mouth. And if it goes too thin, it just won't coat the nuts like it should.
Okay, we want to make sure.
Yeah, we're almost there.
Just takes a few minutes. So our pork's out of the oven and it's resting at about a medium. We want it to cook to about a medium, so nice. Should be nice and pink in the center. And the importance of letting it rest.
Yeah, it just kind of lets everything relax, and it keeps all the juices on the inside of the pork as opposed to going all over your cutting board.
Okay. And then when we do the pork dish, we have our cilantro oil that we made. And so when we do that up, how long do we have it in the fridge?
So the cilantro oil, it's basically fresh cilantro, a little bit of garlic, salt, as well as the extra virgin olive oil. And I would recommend it's best before 1 week in your fridge.
Okay. And because of the olive oil we're using in it, when it's in your fridge, it could solidify, so don't panic if it gets...
Yeah, just bring that back out to room temperature and it'll temper, and it'll be good to go.
Okay.
So our...
So you see it just starting to turn...
Sugar's starting to go there.
Just starting to turn opaque there in the center, just an off-white.
So we can add in our pistachios right about now. And feel free to let this go for another minute if you want. But we'll start by adding the nuts. We'll add the lemon zest. And then we'll add some
thyme.
Fresh thyme.
And you just want that to coat the pistachios.
Yeah, absolutely. So the sugar's getting coated all on the nuts.
Okay.
Then what we're going to do is we're going to take that off. We're going to cool that down on a tray.
Just with some parchment paper?
Just with some parchment paper, just so it doesn't stick.
And this is kind of a quick, because this is starting to get tacky already. So this is a very quick and fast job you want to get done. Have everything ready when it's ready, yeah?
Yeah, so then that'll cool and we can kind of break it apart for our finished product.
Okay. Put that aside.
So now what we're going to do is we're going to start by plating up the pork. So like Chef said, we're going to go with the cilantro oil.
Okay. So just a little on the plate for some color, not a big heavy dose of it, so a little bit goes a very long way.
It's partially visual and it's partially flavorful as well. So then we're going to go into the carrot butter.
Okay. So that was just pureed with just boiled carrots that we pureed in the blender, and then how did it get to this nice yellowish?
So the nice thing about the blender is it makes it nice and smooth. Plus, adding the butter just kind of richens it up, as well as adds that nice, beautiful color.
Okay.
So now we're going to slice this pork here.
And can you go thick or thin on this? Is there a preference to that, or? Because it's tenderloin.
It's all your own preference, but nice visual. Put 3 nice pieces, so each one is around 2 ounces.
Right.
Then we'll kind of finish the plate off. So while the pistachios are resting, we kind of just have some fresh ones already taken apart. We're going to put some on the plate here. So this is just a nice contrast to the dish. So you have some texture there as well. And then we'll finish this off with a few microgreens.
Okay.
Oh,
We have our demo.
I forgot one thing. Yeah, thank you.
No problem.
We're going to add a little extra sauce to the pork.
So this is a pork demi.
Pork demi,
Pork demi,
yes.
just to add a little bit of richness to the sauce and just kind of accent the pork tenderloin a little bit. Demi is made from stocks and then thickened with a little bit of flour or a brown sauce. So just something we always have in the fridge at work in the kitchens. But
then we'll
beautiful
go
plate.
with some greens just for a little bit of color.
Beautiful.
And there we go. There we have it.
Okay, so now we have our fudge.
Yeah, now we'll go into the fudge. So that's just finishing up in the fridge right now.
Okay, Lois, you bring. So that's been in the pretty much set in there now. It's been in there for an hour, a little over an hour.
Thank you. So with these FlexiPan molds, I know some of you may have seen them in grocery stores or whatnot. They pretty much just pop out pretty simple, just like so.
We love them at the restaurant because they get a lot of use.
Absolutely. So we're just going to get ready to plate this up. And because we like to see the cherries, we like to see everything on the inside, I like to just cut them up. If you can just pass over a spoon. We'll do what restaurant chefs like to do. We like to kind of make things nice and colorful.
And what kind of sauce was that?
That was orange cream.
Okay.
Basically what I did with that is we took some whipping cream, we took some orange zest, and some yogurt.
Okay.
And if I could just get 2 more.
A couple more spoons.
So now we have a nice raspberry coulis.
Just kind of random, no real.
Yeah, no real rhyme or reason to it. And then we have a little bit of mango puree as well.
Because everybody has this home in the fridge, right?
And feel free if you have something at home that you'd like to use, a tried, tested, and true.
Chocolate, so anything fruity or creamy is gonna go with it and blend.
Absolutely. And then I just have some fresh pecans, and that'll just finish the dish off.
Beautiful, that's great. So we have peppercorn crusted pork tenderloin with the carrot butter and the cilantro oil, and then the quick and easy
Chocolate fudge.
Chocolate fudge. Well, thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you.
Thanks for the hints, and thank you for joining us. Check out the recipes on our website, kitchenuncovered.com. I'm Chef Andrew Nichols from the Culinary Institute, signing off. Catch you later.